Hi, everybody. It's Kristen Fagan here with Softlex Company, and I'm here with my good friend Tracy from TierraCast.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on today, Kristen.
I know, it's so nice to see you.
I have studio envy right now, though. Look at your backdrop is so beautiful.
Thank you. I have a lot going on in this space right behind.
But it's beautiful. It's colorful and wonderful.
I know. I forget sometimes until I sit here and then I'm like, oh, it's all behind me.
I am going to see if I can find the stream so that I can share it onto our page. So,
okay, cool. You do that.
If we get an echo, I'll try and turn it off as soon as I can.
Awesome. So while Tracy is sharing us with her friends over at TierraCast, let me just talk about the fact that we launched our TGBE Spring Fling kit today. So if you have not seen it, then go check it out at softlexcompany.com. We always have a limited supply, and we don't make as many for the Great Bead Extravaganza as we do our other kits, so they do tend to go a little bit more quickly. So with that said, the Great Bead Extravaganza is coming up next month. It's going to be the Spring Fling. It's April 21st for the preview night, and then 22nd and 23rd are the show dates, and it'll be a full event. I think we're going to start around 11:30 Eastern on Saturday and go to about 7 o'clock, and then same thing on Sunday again. And we're looking to have a special guest join us. So stay tuned for who that might be once we get closer to being able to announce that. Always a lot of fun. We also launched so our kit is called Spring Blossoms. And then we launched a Spring Blossoms bead mix and a bead strand that kind of coordinate with it, but they're not included in the kit. So if you want to add those in as an add-on, then you've got everything that you need to play with that kind of goes with the spring blossom theme. We also launched a bunch of new TierraCast this morning. So we've got an adorable, I haven't seen it myself yet, but I just saw the pictures of the adorable little rabbit. It's a bunny rabbit.
I was just looking at your website too and saw him on there, and he's I don't know if you were planning on going here, but he's kind of a vintage TierraCast charm that we don't make anymore, so it's exclusive for you guys.
It is. We were so excited. It is an exclusive little bunny for Softlex Company. It's like Tracy said, it was a vintage mold that they don't make anymore. They don't have available. And we were able to kind of check out the archives and bring that one for the spring season. And it's just super adorable. Sarah said it's really tiny and really cute, and you're going to want a lot of them.
It looked really sweet on your website.
Awesome. And then we also brought in some more things from your new collection. So we didn't have the Cathedral 5-in-1 link, and we didn't have the Cathedral. I think the toggle went up last week. So we brought in the 5-in-1 link. And then we also have another 5-in-1 link, a beads and spiral one.
Right. You brought in one of our other existing 5-to-1 links, which is, chandelier earrings are really popular right now. So those 5-to-1 links are great for that.
Oh, I'm so excited to use them. I think I saw something gorgeous you made just recently that had a stained glass window effect.
I did do a little demo yesterday. If you want, Kristen, I can switch my camera, and I have some.
Sure. Do you want to say anything else before we turn down?
Oh, just that I'm happy to be here. I really don't know what Kristen has in mind. So I brought all the jewelry that we made when we did the product launch. We make the jewelry just for photography and marketing purposes and for projects on our website. So I gathered all those up, and I gathered up some of the the new parts. And other than that, I really don't know what you have planned for me. So
yeah, we're just figured we'd hang out. We talk a little bit about the new launch. And then I think it'll be great for everyone to see some of the things that you've made. And if they haven't caught your demo for it yet, they can kind of go check that out. And if you're feeling inspired to make something with soft flex, you're welcome to do that too.
I am a little bit inspired to maybe do one demo idea.
Okay.
So depending on what you want to do and how much time we have, you did mention these earrings that I just made, that I had made with the 5-to-1. So I did a live demo for these yesterday, and Kristen mentioned the stained glass effect I did. And so this is what she's talking about. And we actually
I have you on the big screen.
okay. And I did a variation, and I'll be darned if I know. The one I did yesterday during the live stream demo, I have no idea where I left those. I must have left them in the other room. But they were real pretty. We did a very green and blue palette. But what we did is we filled the ring of that 5-to-1 link with some resin, and then added a little bit of tint so that it's not completely colored. It's just kind of translucent.
So cool.
Yeah, so it got us a little stained glass effect. So that was it was fun, but slightly nerve-wracking to demo that yesterday, because as I always say, I am not a resin expert.
I was just going to ask, are you using that new UV resin? Is that the one you demoed, or was it just traditional?
Is there a new UV resin?
Well, I've never used UV resin, so it's kind of new to me. I've only used a few of the other, like 2-part regular resins.
Yes,
so
I used 2-part epoxy resin for this one yesterday. But normally,
awesome.
if I work with resin, I love using a UV resin because it's so fast. But
that's what looks really exciting to me, is the quickness of it.
Yep, it's very, I love using UV resins because it is so much faster, but I didn't have anything. It's a little trickier to find something that you can color it with.
That's good to know. It's more of just a coating on top versus where you can color the regular kind.
Yeah, so I did try when I first started playing with this idea. I had so much fun making all my little samples. Kristen, I just have to share a little bit.
I love it. They're so beautiful. And I can't believe how long that earring is. It is stunning.
It is about 5 inches long. So not even something that I would really wear myself. It's big and kind of flashy. But
I would totally wear that, especially when my hair is down, because when my hair is down, my earrings get a little lost,
Right.
And so my hair can get kind of big. And so it's like, having a big earring or a very long, elegant earring like that, really, you can see it.
Yeah. So I did do a live demo of that technique yesterday. So if you guys want to see that, you can find it on the TierraCast YouTube channel or TierraCast Facebook page, or just go to the inspiration section of our website and look for these earrings. And there's a link to the video in the inspiration page as well. So
that's awesome. Brenda is saying, Tracy, she really hopes she'll make some more post earrings because she loves them.
Yeah, we do have a pretty nice selection of post earrings, but that's, it's always something we keep in mind. And we did, of course, include posts in this new group, these little Raina posts.
Yes, and we did bring those in. We also have the backs coming, but I don't know that they made it online just yet. So just so you guys know, the Raina posts don't come with backs, so you do need to have backs that you purchase separately. And I know that they're coming down the pipeline for us, but they haven't hit the website.
We do actually sell a silicone earring back. That's what Kristen's talking about, that I guess you guys have ordered those. They're really nice and comfortable. We like these.
They are nice. Sherry says that's longer than her neck, but she would still wear it. I would too.
Yeah,
I
Sherry.
like when sometimes they kind of come and they're like up, below your neck. And I think that's super pretty. That's what it is. Sherry's an 80s girl, and there's no such thing as too long.
Yeah. So funny. Yeah. So, Kristen, it looked to me like you guys brought everything in.
I think we did. There's a few things that maybe we didn't. I don't think we have the infinity link that you've got there in the
Oh,
corner.
the guy.
Yeah, I don't think we have that one in yet. But little by little, we
Yeah.
kept adding.
And if people ask for them, then maybe you'll bring them
It'll
in.
be something that comes in next. Yeah.
So this was our flyer for the launch, just because it's a nice way to see everything kind of nice and tidy. That was included in this collection of parts. And if people want to see this flyer or download it, they can get it on the blog post on our website for this collection. So
They're really beautiful. It's a really beautiful collection.
it was a very inspired group, I started to say Kristen. We have Kirsten, not Kristen.
Right.
But
Yes.
she was very inspired to do a very inclusive group of spiritual components. So she really, when I say it's an inspired group, it really was. She had a lot of targets she wanted to hit, including our first ever crucifix. We've never done a crucifix before. We've done many crosses, but this is our first ever crucifix. So
Wow, I didn't realize that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I have a couple of items on my table. I'm just going to switch for a second because I have a few here that you don't have up there.
Oh, yes. Some of our other, we have a lot of spiritual items that play well with the new collection.
Yeah. So I ended up here. I picked out the Celtic cross. I plan to do something with that for my mom. And then we also brought in these beautiful Buddhas, which have a really lovely weight to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're really nice, and they're double-sided, and they look like they're the same thing on both sides, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. I love those. Those are my favorites. We also have a large version of that's got a ring around it. So it's like more of a pendant than a charm.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
And this I am just in love with.
Yeah, that is the Ashtamangala, or 8 signs.
And it's just
and it's so long since we launched that. I don't remember all the details of what the symbology is. So I apologize for that. But it should be if you want to look, it's in the description on our website.
Oh, it's super cool. I might take a look and share it with everybody when we're working. And then the Ganesh is so cute.
Ganesh, I know. His little bottom, I love it.
His little bottom is like so adorable. And I was telling everyone, I have a Ganesh shirt that I always wear when I travel, especially like when I'm flying or something.
Because Ganesh is the remover of obstacles.
Yes, exactly. And so I'm like, oh, I can make myself a little amulet now too. So if I don't want to wear the shirt, I at least have the amulet or something I can wear with me. And then a few of the rest of the other things I think you already had out too. I think these links are just super gorgeous. And I love the bracelet you made with those.
I have all of that jewelry ready to show you if you guys want.
So I'm going to switch back to you then.
Okay.
Oh, Sherry's asking, can we see the bunnies, please? You'll have to just check them out at softflexcompany.com because I don't actually have them in my possession to share yet. They just went.
You guys are literally the only people with them. Unless some bead store out there has got some really, really, really old vintage TierraCast product.
Yeah, I'm sure there might be some one or two out there that has them somewhere, but nobody has them fresh off the press.
That's for sure. Only you guys, which is just so cool. I love that. So we do make a lot of jewelry when we're launching a product collection, and these were fun to work with. Kristen, you were just mentioning the bracelet we did with maybe I'll use a little. I wonder if I have a little. I need a little tray that I can lay things out on so that there's not a lot of background interference.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Look at
these
that.
are the beautiful little Raina links, which not all of the components in this group are available in copper. We were kind of selective, and that's all based on sales data, what types of things sell well in copper and what don't. But these Raina links, as well as the post, we had to do those in copper because they just look so good in it.
They do. And purple and copper is always a gorgeous combination.
And this, it doesn't look to me like it's coming through, but this amethyst is just so luminescent and juicy.
It's a beautiful deep color.
Isn't it beautiful? And I did a pair of earrings using that some of those little gemstone chip beads too in the silver.
I like when you've got chips, but they're a little larger like that. So you don't have like too many itty bitty pieces to work with.
Yeah. So this design for the link and the post is inspired by like a starburst. And it also kind of is reminiscent of flowers. So we like that it's kind of flexible that way. It could be paired with floral components and it could be paired with kind of celestial themed designs too. So we're liking this little link and the post that goes with it. And all of the kind of very symbolic charms needed some supporting materials. So that's why we wanted to make sure there was a toggle and the new post and then that 5-to-1 link that you guys were just looking at.
So pretty. Oh, Maria said she loves that bracelet. And Melanie says it's absolutely gorgeous in color.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Becky is saying that she loves the shape of the moon and the star and the peace charms. Charms are usually round or oval, but these are not. Yeah, it's nice to have some fun new shapes to play with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also use that little Raina with this, the St. Christopher. Speaking of protection while you're traveling, this is the St. Christopher medal, which is very popular as for something that people give to loved ones when they're traveling. It's because St. Christopher protect us.
That's very cool. I love that. And yeah, traveling is one of those things that's always like just so stressful as it is. It's nice to have something. I always find anyway, like when I wear that same shirt, even if it's underneath other things, it just feels like there's something extra to get me through the journey.
Yep. Because it's hard. Travel is hard. Some people, maybe if they do it a lot, it's easier for them. But for me, I don't do it that often. A few times a year. But it kicks my butt. Telling you.
And I always find, traveling to some place is fun. Traveling home sometimes not so much.
Yeah. So of course we had to do a crucifix, and we used, if anybody who's familiar with the construction of a crucifix knows that there's beads that are 10 sections long, 10 beads long. That's called the decade. And then there's beads or components that go in between the decades that are also part of the prayer. And then use those links. We use the Raina links as those separator sections. And then the new crucifix.
It's gorgeous. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah. And our palette, we had we were going for kind of rainbow and stained glass. So we used a lot of jewel toned and kind of rainbow arrangements of the colors. This Sacred Heart is such a popular motif. And it is also the origin of it is Christian, because it is literally the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And so, it symbolizes love for humanity and it symbolizes faith. And it's an extremely popular symbol, even beyond, people who are in the Christian faith. It's just extremely popular. So we had some fun. We had some fun doing some different things with the with the Sacred Heart button and charm.
Yeah, and I think we only brought in the button, if I'm correct. But I love that you've got like a little Milagros charm on that ear. Is that an earring you made?
It is. It's an earring using some 20 gauge craft wire.
Oh, that's awesome. Let me see the back of it. How did you connect
So I
that?
just made a hoop out of the 20 gauge wire, and I formed little hooks at the ends of the hoop. Come on, let's get some focus going.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So they're just connected to the shank of the button with some little hooks. And then right above that, I used a large jump ring to suspend the ear wire.
Oh, what a fun way to use a button. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. I just did a button ring on Monday, and I was using some check glass buttons, but I'm also wearing one of your Starburst buttons as a ring, and it's one of my absolute favorites.
Fun. I think I remember I shared a post of some buttons, some rings you made using the buttons a couple months back.
Yeah, I did these, and I did the Longhorn buttons too. And I wear them all the time because they're just like the perfect little size for a ring, and they're really comfortable. And then of course I've got my big Mama Jamma ones I wear sometimes just for a little fun, but these are more like a good everyday
Nice.
ring.
Nice. So yeah, and then we have the high charm, which is the Hebrew word and the letters that symbolize life. So we've always had some Star of Davids in our product line, and loved the chance to bring in another symbol for the Jewish faith. So that's the high.
I didn't know it was pronounced that way. Thank you for saying that.
If you hear someone say l'chaim, well, and you really have to hit that first. It's that kind of, there's a word for it, the way you pronounce that first, the CH. It's got that sound in it. If you hear somebody say the tos l'chaim, it literally means to life.
Oh.
So the word is chai.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that with us. Melanie is asking, she may have missed it. She's curious, what had you do a faith collection at this time?
I've been telling people that the Crucifix started it, because we've had many, many crosses in our product line for years, but we were founded by Steve and Al, who have both retired within the last few years. And Al was the product development guy, and he did not want to do a crucifix because he's not Catholic. So he said, I don't want to mess it up. So he would never do a crucifix. And when Kirsten came, when Al retired and Kirsten took over as product development manager, she said, I'm doing a crucifix. So she was a Catholic schoolgirl. So she said, I'm doing a crucifix. And that was the starting point for the group,
The whole collection.
Yeah.
Well, once she did that, like you said, she felt like she really wanted to be inclusive and just start to work on other beautiful symbols of faith and also secular as well.
Exactly. And the crescent moon and star is a secular image, but it's also a very significant symbol in the Islamic faith. So in that effort to have something for everybody, that's what she decided on for that.
Really? I mean, she did an amazing job. I think it's a really beautiful collection.
This is a fun little charm. It's got a little pattern of stars on the back as well. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I think the back is super lovely. And I wondered if it meant anything in particular or if it just was a pretty pattern she went with.
She just needed a pattern for the back.
Very cool.
And then
Melanie says that she definitely needed it at this time. It's good to have faith.
Exactly. And we had a lot of other kind of spiritual components that have spiritual symbology and meaning. And we wanted to just add to that because, yeah, she's right. So I have a whole other tray of stuff. Now, this group of designs is mostly stuff that I used beading wire with. So, you know,
Oh,
I used
that's
some
right up our alley.
exactly. That's why I wanted to kind of separate these out, because I love using the metallic antique brass.
That's exactly what I just pulled out and I'm playing with over here.
Yeah. I love to use that with the gold, with our gold finish components, because it kind of, it blends in really nicely. So all of these little pearl and crystal sections are on beading wire, and then they're just connected to those little infinity links, which you said you didn't pick up, but who knows, you might someday.
We might still, yeah.
Yeah, and this would also look lovely. This design would look lovely with the little Raina links instead.
It would. Oh, and I should tell everyone, I don't think I mentioned it at the top, that right now we're doing 15% off all of our components at softluxcompany.com. And we did that in honor of Tracy being here with us today. So you can check out all of our TierraCast, all of the new items, including everything else that we've been keeping around as our staples, are 15% off, our crimps, and all of the other components. So that entire category is no coupon needed. You just add it to your cart and you will see the discount.
I am inspired. You know, we were talking about how the Raina would also look really good in this design. So I was just setting those Raina links in place of the infinities.
Oh, yeah. So did you crimp them to the infinity on either side?
I did. There's each of these little sections is crimped to the infinity links on both sides. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I haven't written this one and gotten it up on the website yet, but it will be up probably within the next week or so. So that's a fun project. Very easy, very beginner friendly.
You guys, Tracy has been so busy. Look at all of the stuff she's been making.
Lots of good crimping practice here with this one.
Yeah.
And who doesn't need more crimping practice?
So true.
Yeah. And this was just fun with all the multiple layers. These two strands are on beading wire, and I probably used the heavy, or at least the medium, on these two strands, just because there was big beads.
Some bigger beads. That's gorgeous. That's one necklace with the 5 links.
That is one necklace using those 5 links. And this one also is not up on the website yet, but will be.
You guys, look at that. Oh my gosh. I don't know that I've done a 5-strander on a necklace before. I think 3 might be my max. So I'm going to have to give that a try.
And I very intentionally used chain for 2 of the strands because
helps thin it out a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be 5 solid strands of gemstones and beads. It just would have been a beast.
Right.
So
seed beads would be good too if you guys don't have chain. Doing something like some small seed beads in between could help.
Strand of seed beads. Yeah.
But I do enjoy the chain, and I think you've got like either a leather or a cord, and then the beading.
Yeah,
the beading wire and
some suede lace.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Having all of those mixed media things going on.
So that's a fun one. And that one has the pea stub. We didn't mention the pea stub.
Oh yeah. This one's Sarah's favorite. She's mentioned it so many on her videos that one she's just in love with.
Right. It is a sweet one.
And it looks really good with the bail, which we do sell those, and they are included in the sale right now too. So that looks really nice. It kind of gives it a good finish.
Yeah, the pea stuff, I think that one is really, people are loving it.
Yeah. And it's such that's another one that's got 2 beautiful sides that you can wear it either way.
So this one was one of my favorite ones to make, Kristen. I used some 24 gauge wire to make my own little head pins to do this. So I thought that might be a fun technique to demo.
That looks so pretty. And that looks like a piece that I could totally see you wearing, Tracy.
I would possibly wear something like this, yeah. And it could, of course, have any charm you wanted on it. I thought it would be fun because St. Patrick's Day is in 2 days.
I know. I have to make my Irish soda bread. I haven't even gotten my materials yet.
I just flagged a recipe for Irish soda bread a few days ago, but I don't know if I'll actually get around to making any.
Oh, I'll have to share my grandma's with you.
Oh.
It's the most easy bread ever. And I always say, like, why don't I make this other times of the year? Because it's so simple. And my grandma always made spotted dog, which is actually with raisins. So it's Irish soda bread with raisins in it. And
see, I would love that.
I'm a big fan of raisins in any kind of bread, and it just gives a little bit of sweetness that you don't have in it normally. So it's just my favorite. I think I have it on like an really old blog post somewhere when I used to blog for just my family and my kids back in the day.
Oh, fun. Yay. I would, if you are willing to share your Irish soda bread recipe, I would love that.
Yeah, I'll hunt it down. I'll hunt it down and I'll share it with you.
Excellent. So this little technique that I used for these, Kristen, is just making your own head pins with coiled wire. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, I love that.
Maybe it's something you've demoed a lot. I don't know, but
not a lot. So we demoed it different ways of doing it, but everyone has their own little spin on how they do it. So I would love to see how you do it.
Well, this particular style, I think, is called like the knotted head pin. And I cut kind of a fairly long little piece of, I think I cut the 24 gauge wire. You could also use 26. I think anything thicker than that, and I think it gets hard to make it do a little knot kind of thing. So what I did with the end there is I just coiled it around like 3 times using the very tip of my round nose pliers. So I just have a little coil on there. And then I'm going to thread the end of the wire up through that coil and pull it all the way through until it all ends up down here at the bottom. And just pull it through until you end up with kind of a little, I'm not quite sure what to call it. A knot, I guess.
A little knot, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so adorable.
Some people who are really good at it will end up with like almost a little florally looking thing. Mine are usually a bit more messy than that, but
yeah, I think mine look kind of like a knot too. They don't have too much of it.
So, but it makes a nice, head pins are the go-to for stringing. I'm trying to get that last little bit through the coil. Head pins, of course, are the go-to thing when you're going to make a bead into a dangle. But because I wanted to do really generous wire wrapping at the top of these, I
love that look. I think that's really a fun little look on that bicone.
Well, making your own head pins with this kind of technique allows you to have enough wire to do that. Otherwise, you're using a head pin and it's too short. A bit too short.
That's a very good point. I always find that it gives it that more, hand. What's the word I'm looking for?
Rustic,
like a rustic, organic, like really hand formed look.
Yeah,
and you can't do that with a head pin because you just don't have enough wire.
Yeah. So now I'm going to fold the wire over to start my wire wrapping, but I'm giving a little bit of room. I'm not folding it right at the top of the bead. I folded it right about here. So it's got like almost 1/8 of an inch of wire, maybe not quite that much. And that's where I'm going to start making my wire wrap. That way I've got lots of room to make that little messy wrap. So my loop is started up here. And then I have plenty of wire left that I can just start making a nice, messy, rustic looking wrap. And these little beads that I pulled out, they were green. So I'm like, okay, St. Patrick's Day, I need green. And they're a little bit smaller than those crystals I used in the original design. So I don't want to go too far down.
The crystals look like they were a bit bigger.
Yeah, they're like an 8mm bicone. And this little guy, he's a bit smaller. So I don't want to go quite as crazy as I did. I'm like, why am I having such a hard time seeing? It's because I didn't turn on one of my lights.
Oh, there you go.
Light. It's amazing.
We need light.
Yeah. So then we end up with that cute little.
Oh, it's adorable. Someone I think said too, the necklace could be like Christmas lights. So you can easily make something similar to create that kind of feeling during the holidays. Melanie said that. She said, reminds me of Christmas lights.
Yeah. So then if I was going to keep going to make this necklace, I would
that sounds great.
Well, it looks like I used 10 here. So we'll just keep going for a while.
Beverly says that she loves simple recipes, especially bread. Please share. So I will share it in the VIB group too, so you guys can take a look. And Melanie said, do a live teaching it. So I'm not.
That's a whole different.
I don't know how I'd be in the kitchen.
Project.
I'm good at the bead table. But
like
maybe I can't remember. I might have some step-by-step pictures on my blog. I don't know, but yeah, it's a super easy recipe. Oh, Deborah's grandma used currants in hers. That sounds lovely. I should try one with that. That would be like, I could do a couple of them at once. And I love it warm. So I always like either have it straight out of the oven or I have to toast it. So it's nice and warm with melted butter. Oh gosh, I got to run out and get some buttermilk. I think other than buttermilk and the raisins, everything else is just stuff you normally would have in your house. There's only like 4 or 5 ingredients. It's really simple.
You use buttermilk in yours.
Yes, I do use buttermilk in mine.
I have made Irish soda bread once or twice, but it's not something I've done often.
Yeah.
Come on now. Once you get the hang of it, it really is very easy. Don't let the struggle here fool you.
Debbie, I think Tracy's going to do a couple more for us of the little knots. Yeah.
And then what I'll do, Kirsten, wrong Kirsten.
That's okay. Kristen and Kirsten.
I know. We'll get it. I'll finish it up and get it all put together, and then I'll send you guys a picture.
Oh, we love that. And then Thomas always puts them together in a nice little blog for everybody to see what you created. Gina says, I like that we can get away with messy wraps. Messy wraps are my favorites.
I love messy wraps. There might be a method behind my madness here.
Beverly's saying, yeah, I do that too, Beverly. Beverly's saying, hold on to your wire with a pair of nylon pliers. And then when you pull, it helps to make that little knot tighter. I sometimes do that too, so that you can pull and then you don't have to worry about messing up the nylon pliers, like kind of hold your little knot in place.
I'm like, this is not a technique I use frequently. So I always have to go, okay, what are the best techniques? Who's got a good blog? Who's demoed it a few times? So it's almost a learning experience every time I do it. But I have not tried using the nylon jaw pliers.
Well, maybe I will show you because I've done it that way. What did you say you were using? 24 gauge?
I am using 24 gauge.
Let me go grab some 24.
With these little beads, they're smaller than the crystals, of course. 26 might have been better.
Oh, because they're not as big as the other ones were.
Just a little.
I have 22 right next to me. So I'll just do it with 22 and see what happens. Maybe it'll just be a little bit bigger for people to see, but it might not make it easier on me. I'll switch.
And I'm also confusing myself because I've got both silver-plated pewter wire and I have non-tarnish, and they're ever so slightly different in their colors. So.
Oh yeah, I don't know if we carry the matte one any longer, but I think because they were so close in color,
yeah, they're
we decided
pretty much the same color. Just one is slightly more toned, less bright.
I like that pewter a lot. I think it's a really pretty color. So I'm going to go ahead, just like Tracy did, I'm going to go ahead and just on the tip of my round nose plier, make a few little spirals, like 2 or 3. And then I'm going to bend my wire up and take that off. So you'll see there's just like a little coil right there. And then I'll take this end, bend it into, now do you bend it up and around or do you go through?
No, I bend it through the side where it's coming from the coil.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't do that little bend it to straighten it. So that may be, that might make it better.
I think I started to do that just to make it easier for me to remember which way to stick my wire through. Because I would forget each time. And then what I do here is once you've got it through a little bit, you just hold the knot next to your nylon jaw plier, and I switch my hand. So that's in my left hand now. And then I grab either a bent or a chain nose, and then I can pull this all the way through.
Yeah, and that will hold it nicely. I'm following along.
Yeah, and so this way, because you've got it, you can really tug at the end really tightly because your plier is there holding it for you. So I'll just show you guys what I'm doing while Tracy's been talking and sharing all of her things. I've just started stringing a necklace with one of these 8 sign pendants. I went with the gold and then I strung it on the antique brass soft flex medium. And I had
you're using.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we have these really pretty bamboo beads. And this particular one is like an olive green with a little bit of a blue purple tanzanite color, like right at the edges, just an itty bitty amount. It's so pretty. I knew that when I saw this, because olive green is like my all-time favorite color. I was like, I will be making myself something I will wear myself with these beads.
You said those are bamboo?
These are all bamboo. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So we've got them in lots of different colors and shapes too at Softflex Company. And then in between are these little 4mm fire polish that have a bit of copper on them. So they're like an olivine color with a copper on one side. And I just thought that played nicely with the gold, the antique gold pendant. So very simple.
And it looks like those fire polish kind of play with the little tiny bit of tanzanite color really nicely.
Oh, you're seeing that pick up the little blue just an itty bit too. I love it. And I also looked up what the symbols mean. So on here, it's hard to tell, but they're in these little tiny, I think it's on this side. In the little tiny thing, there's like all these different symbols in here, right? I'm seeing a lotus flower, which represents purity and enlightenment. There's something called an endless knot that represents eternal harmony. There's fish that represent happiness and freedom. I'm not reading the TierraCast website, so yours might say it's something a little bit different.
No, well, when we created it, we absolutely were doing research to try and find out, all the symbology. So hopefully it's very close to what.
Okay, cool. There's something called a victory banner that represents a victorious battle. And there is the wheel of Dharma representing knowledge.
I like that victory battle.
Yeah.
Representing, what did you say?
A victorious battle.
Because that's like every day. You
Right?
make it,
We made it through again.
Time to wave the victory banner.
There's something called a treasure vase that represents treasure and wealth. A parasol or an umbrella represents the crown and protection from the elements. And lastly is a conch shell, represents the thoughts of the Buddha. So that's like super cool.
That's wonderful. It's been a few years since we created that piece, so I've forgotten all those details.
Oh, is it something that was kind of already in the, and just sort of fit in with everything else that you were launching?
I think it was 2018.
Oh, okay, not long ago.
Created that one. So, but long enough for me to have forgotten what the, all the details.
Well, there's it's a lot of things. It's a lot of symbols on there. Yeah. I just recently, I was reading up on Buddhism when my kids were little, and I think I needed a little loving kindness. Mm-hmm. and I just recently started to revisit it, and it's been really neat. I'm listening to a couple of podcasts.
I study Zen Buddhism and have for almost, well, I guess it's been about 18 years I've been studying Zen Buddhism. So,
that's fantastic. Yeah, one of the podcasts is a Zen Buddhist monk that I'm listening to.
Definitely near and dear to my heart, and makes good sense to me.
Super cool. And then I met I think he was a Zen Buddhist monk as well in January. A friend of mine had met him a year ago, and he came back into the Phoenix area, and she hosted him at her house for like a talk. And so
is he from Japan, or is he
no, he's from Thailand.
Oh, so he's okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think the type of Buddhist that he was, I think starts with a T. It's like totally, I'm missing it at the moment.
Theravada, maybe?
That could be.
There's so many schools of Buddhism that
there's a few schools, yeah. But I was like, when does your friend, have a monk at their house? And so I was like, I have to go check this out. And he was just so delightful. And it just really was such a lovely experience, and made me want to dive into learning even a little bit more than I had before.
No wonder that particular charm really speaks to you. That's nice.
It did. Anne just joined, and she's wondering if that is round wire or square. I believe it's round wire.
Are we back on me? I'll make sure.
Oh yeah, sorry, we are back on you.
That's fine. I'm just
surprised.
Stay mostly under the camera. Do my best anyway. It is round. It is round craft wire, and I'm cutting about maybe a generous 6 inches for my little handmade head pins.
This way you have plenty of space to wire wrap around.
There's nothing. I tend to be a very frugal person in life in general, and in using materials, no matter what I'm doing. I tend to be frugal.
I hear that. Me too.
I've had to really learn with jewelry making to not literally cut myself short. The wire with wire and chain and beading wire. I've had to learn to not be so frugal, to cut enough where I'm going to be able to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish without struggling.
I think that's a really good lesson, right? Because it is hard to sometimes feel like you pull out enough to use, but you've had experiences where if you don't pull out enough, then you have to start all over, and you're really wasting, because then you have to kind of let go of everything that you've cut and start again.
Sabotaging yourself.
You're sabotaging yourself.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm a super frugal person too in life, and in my art and in my jewelry. I've had some chats with friends, and they're like, "What do you mean you don't want like all of the supplies?" And I'm like, "I actually don't. I get a little bit of decision fatigue if I have
Yeah.
too much." So I clean out my studio regularly and like move stuff around and stuff like that, because once there's too much, I kind of get a little overwhelmed.
You get paralysis.
I do. So that's why it's great to follow along and do tutorials with people, because if you use your stuff, then it's cool to bring in more stuff. It's when you're not using your stuff that it gets.
Yeah, at some point you're not crafting, you're just collecting.
Right. Which I know we have a lot of collectors, I'm sure of it.
Okay.
And it's okay. Because it is, I know, I mean, I totally get that too. There's a lot of so pretty beads that you just want to look at and enjoy for what they are. But it's so, as someone that likes to create, I do get a little paralysis if I have too many options. And I'm like that with so many things, like, anything in life. If I've got too many options, I kind of just go, never mind.
I get derailed.
I get derailed. Melanie says she just puts a bit extra and puts it in a save jar, and then it can be used on other occasions, and use it with epoxy clay. Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah, for little inclusions in her epoxy clay.
That's a great way to use like a random mix of stuff that you've got.
Little bits.
What's everyone else saying? Jessica's joining late. Hi, Jessica. Sherry gets FOMO in her jewelry and crafting. I hear you. I hear that too. Fear of missing the fun, fear of missing out. A collector is a much nicer word than H.
Word.
Emily from Motorcraft says.
You have a carefully curated collection.
That's right. I will say it's nice to take some stuff out and like just put it around your space as a collection too. So I do that sometimes with
that
pieces.
Can be really inspiring.
Yeah. And this way you feel like it's getting use and you can enjoy it, and maybe it's on a little altar, or buy some special candles or something like that. Oh, I love this necklace I just made, you guys. And I think
switch the view so we can see it.
Yeah. I just had it I just put it on my neck. Let me see how I think I'm happy with the length. I could always make it a little bit longer. But I feel like it's kind of just perfect. So there it is on me. And then I'll show you guys under the camera.
Oh, nice.
Also. Anne says that's what I do. Oh, good. Yeah, I just bought a like a bead. Oh, let me add myself back to the stream here. I just bought like a bead display piece for one of my lampwork beads that was just sitting, in a drawer. And now I have it displayed on one of my shelves. And it's just so cool to be able to see it and enjoy it.
So how did you finish that? What's the clasp?
Just a super simple lobster clasp. And I just crimped each side.
Yeah. So it's very beautiful, but you could, if you wanted to, add a tiny bit of chain as an extender, and then it would give you some adjustability. I
was thinking that. I don't have a ton of chain in my supply, so that is one thing I do probably need to bring into my collection. But that's always nice to have a little bit of extender chain to add in the back. And I always keep So of the chain that I do have, I'll show you guys. This is
I
me being
That is
frugal.
one thing I always keep little snips of chain.
I have this big ring here,
Uh-huh.
and I just keep adding little snips of chain with the jump ring when I have leftovers. And so this way, if I like in this case, I might just want to take something like this and add it to the back. I've got a little piece of it here
Mm-hmm.
waiting for me.
Or you may want to make a pair of fringe earrings that's very
Oh,
mixed metal and mixed texture.
I mean, it's kind of almost a pendant itself, right? Like if I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of trim some of these off in an interesting way, I have kind of a really neat chain pendant going on here. That's a good idea. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's just a very simply strung necklace, but I feel like the pendant was the showstopper, and I just wanted the beads to be supporting actors in that role.
But they're perfect for it.
If you guys don't mind, I'm going to just share my screen for a second, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. I want to show everyone. I've never done this before. Sarah usually does this. I think I got it. Can you guys see the website right here?
Mm-hmm.
So if you go, this is our homepage at softluxcompany.com. You can check out, that is our lucky findings 15% off. And you can just click right here on the shop now and it'll take you to all of the components. But if you scroll,
there's the bunny. You guys, there's
I
the
know.
bunny.
There it is. There's that cute little bunny right next to the shop now button. It's so much smaller than that, I think, though.
Yeah, it's small.
I think it's petite. So if you scroll down, you'll see our new products. And the first one there is our Spring Fling, Spring Blossoms Beading Design Challenge Kit. And that's the one that we'll be working on and working with during the presentation. And then we've got the Spring Blooms bead mix and bead strand that are just sort of complements to it that you can pick up, and a quad of beading wire. So we also debuted the 2023 Spring Summer Pantone quad, which has our tanzanite, our pink tourmaline, the spinel, which we're kind of calling the Viva Magenta color.
Yeah,
And
I see a lot of Viva Magenta influence here.
I know, big time. And then the dark blue lapis. And then there's that cute little silver bunny. It says it's 8 by 13 millimeters is the size of that little guy. And then we've got all of the beautiful links and cathedral items there. And then we have more in the main section. And we have a couple more even down here. As you scroll down even further, you'll see the Raina links and the pendant that I used today. And then if you get all the way down to the bottom here, this is where our blog is. And so we'll do a blog after, so you can just click on that and see kind of some close-ups of what we work on. And that's what we were saying earlier with Tracy. She'll send us a picture and then we'll add it on our blog and you'll be able to see it a little bit more easily.
I'm thinking you guys must have some little gemstone. I'm trying to think of the shape of this bead when it's in a gemstone. Is it just, would it be a drop?
Is it a briolette? Is it a briolette?
Possibly. I'm just imagining you must have some perfect little gemstones for doing this kind of design.
We do. We have a lot of CZs. So they're really super sparkly, and we have a lot in that shape. And then gemstones, we probably have a few, but I want to say a lot of our gemstones tend to be a little more nugget-y in shape for the most part. I think the CZ line that we have would be perfect for this design.
Are they a bicone? Are they a bicone shape?
They're more like a briolette, and then we have some pears.
Oh yeah,
so those two. Nice. Yeah, those two sizes I think would be really pretty.
I failed with that one. I couldn't get my wire to go through, and I pulled on it too hard and I broke
went right through it. I love this design you're making, and it might, and I see you've got the Celtic cross up there.
Yeah, I'm inspired by St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna
Look at how pretty.
I'll do a total of 5. Excuse me.
Oh, bless you. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'll do 5 crystals or 5 stones for, these are little check glass beads is what these are.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll do 5 for each to frame each side of the pendant, and that'll be it.
Oh, I love it so much, Sherry. Sherry says, how about that little bunny in an egg-shaped hoop with flower beads? Oh, you're designing right in your mind right now. I love that, Sherry. That sounds...
I'm imagining little wire wrapping, colorful wire wrapping around the egg shape is what I'm imagining.
That would be cool. Or having like little
Little
beads in the,
yeah.
inside.
Mm-hmm.
Maria says, I think briolets are top drilled. And so these are more like a teardrop drops. Oh, that's a good, you're right.
They call this, the little bag I'm looking at says it's a pear.
Okay.
A glass pear.
It's awesome. I love that design. It's so dainty and pretty and classic. It's a very classic design.
Yeah. I think it's going to show off that Celtic cross really nicely.
I think so too. So those of you that bought the Wonderland kit right after this beading party with Tracy, we're going to be doing an after party Zoom, and I'll be there this time. Sarah had something come up and she wasn't able to make it today. So I sent out an updated Zoom link this afternoon and a couple of hours ago. So if you purchase the kit, should have gotten that link, and I hope you can stick around and join me and we can bead together with the Wonderland kit. It's I didn't get to do that. Sarah did it last time with Chocolate Kiss, and that was the first time we ever did something like that. She said it was really fun, and I didn't get to go. So this time I'm going to be there.
Fun.
I'll have to see what beads I have left because I used a lot of them, but I think I still have a handful because there's always a ton of beads in those kits. What else do you have going on, Tracy? Is there anything else you want to talk about or let us know what's going on or coming up?
No, our product launches, once the product launch is done, there still seems to be always an awful lot of work to do. So I'm just still working on Keep the Faith collection stuff, and the designs we make for the marketing for the launches turns into our inspiration. So I'll be working with these designs for the next few weeks, doing our live stream demos and getting them instructions written and getting stuff added to the website. So that really is kind of my focus for.
And when do you guys do your live streams? What's your schedule?
I do mine on Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m.
And that's Pacific time, right?
That is Pacific time, yeah, which we just switched to daylight savings time. So I'm mostly adjusted to that.
I know. It always takes a little while. I'm like, can we stop?
You live in Arizona, so you guys don't even have to deal with it.
I know, but we do though, because everybody else does. So it's kind of like
everybody else.
Yeah. So I'm always like, part of the year, I'm not, on the same time zone as the rest of my soft flexors in California. And then the other part of the year, we are on the same time zone. And so it's like, you always have to, and today, like I always set up all of the streams and stuff. So I have to take that into account that I'm doing it on Pacific time, but I'm not always at the same time.
Oh, I see.
It takes a little extra brain power.
I'm so sorry we put you through that.
I know. And then I think it gets confused. The programs that I'm using get confused because I change time zones, but they're still thinking I'm on a different one, So even though we don't change. So it's I think it's like so tough. I don't know if Hawaii has it as bad because I think their time zone stays the same.
Right.
But we switch from mountain to Pacific, and I feel like that's kind of confusing.
Yeah, that would be a challenge for me.
Sherry says the change always mess with my head. Yeah. I was just talking to my sister this morning. She's in New York, and she was saying that her son was like really late to school today because they just couldn't get up. Like the time was just it just messed them all up this morning.
To get up. I get it. I get it. Yeah. So yeah, we will be working on another product launch probably very late spring, late May, early June, possibly. Really not at a point where I can talk about what we're doing yet. It's still
In
it's not
development.
really trickling over. It's not at a point where it's trickling over to the marketing department yet. It's still very much in product development. So I just don't know everything that's going on. But we will be, doing a product launch late May, early spring.
Cool.
And yeah.
Well, I know that we at Softflex Company just really love working with you guys at TierraCast, and your products are always so top notch. And
thank you. And we appreciate you guys so much.
We've been working. We just keep working with you more and more and more over the last couple of years too, which has been great.
Is awesome. Yes, love it.
And if you guys don't know, TierraCast is located in California. All the products are made in the USA. Do you want to talk a little bit about your materials? I think they are all plated, right?
Right. All of our charms and componentry is cast here in-house in lead-free pewter. And then we have plating partners that do we have a fine silver finish, 22 karat gold finish, copper, and then we have a couple of other random finishes that show up. Not all of our products, very few of our products have like a black finish, and then we also have a wonderful brass ox finish that we use quite a bit. Nothing in the newest collection has that finish, but it is a very popular finish. So we have plating houses that we ship our parts out for that. And then it's brought back to us where we do the antiquing and all the finishing and the packaging. And so most of the work is done right here. And we are only about a half an hour away from Softflex.
Oh, which is so lovely because we can get our orders so quickly.
Yeah, I see Lydia asking how many launches do we do each year, and it is the last few years it's been 3 to 4, so it really depends, but it's typically around 3 or 4.
And this feels like a pretty big launch to me, but maybe the Woodland was big too. I'm trying to.
Woodland was big. They do vary in size, and this one was one of the bigger ones that we've done in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because once you start going through all of the different symbols, there's just more and more to probably think about.
Yeah, in terms of production and then just managing inventory, we try to keep it manageable. So often things have to get culled. We might start a product development group with 20 ideas, and then things get culled as we go along because there's just we can't do them all.
Can't do all of them. Yeah.
So, but you're right.
Prioritize.
Yeah, Keep the Faith is one of the larger ones we've done in a little while. I think Woodland was pretty big too, but not quite as big, I don't think.
Right. I felt like this was a pretty significant launch. Sherry says that she loves the Woodland pieces. Yeah. And we still are restocking a lot of those Woodland pieces. I think pretty much all of them that we brought in are still being restocked at softflexcompany.com because it's really a beautiful collection that you can
popular
use all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you connect these when you get to that point? Do you use a little jump ring?
I did use, in the original design, I used a little jump ring. I am using fairly fine chain. I did consider when I first started wrapping the dangles, I thought, should I connect them directly to the chain? But really using the jump rings is a lot easier for this because, it allows for repositioning.
You can space it a little bit more.
Right. It allows for finessing the spacing a little more. So I will use our smallest oval jump rings to connect these.
Yeah. I sometimes struggle with that. I don't think I have a wide enough range of jump ring sizes that sometimes they're just a little too big when my chain is dainty. So if you do run into that, you either need tiny jump rings or, and tiny by meaning the gauge so that it's thinner.
And the size. Yeah, these are our smallest ones. They're, I want to say they're 20 gauge. And they're just 2x3 inside dimensions, so millimeters. So they're pretty small.
They're pretty small.
They're very unobtrusive.
And then you can directly connect them if that's your only option. But it is a little bit more finicky because you're going to have to connect them as you go along the project. So,
and you really need to know exactly where you want to put them.
Right. Counting is important.
With the wrapped loops, there's no going back unless you cut it off. So,
and then start all over again.
No.
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful. It's really, really pretty, Tracy.
Yeah, I think it'll come out nice.
And it's perfect for the St. Pat's weekend.
That's right. I will finish it up and get a picture over to you guys tomorrow.
Awesome. Do you want to turn your camera back and say, yeah. Oh, this has been so much fun. What did you guys think of this? I love, there's something very meditative when you get to the point where you are, let me take this one out. There we go. When you're just doing those drops over and over.
You know what you're doing, and you have to do a few repetitions so you figured out in theory, you figured out all the little, to make the process smooth, and then you can just make without thinking for a little while.
And I always love projects like that. If it's something that you're not as comfortable with doing, it's a great project to practice because you're making all of these drops. So, by the time you get to the end, you're going to be a bit of a pro, and you might go back and redo that first one or two.
Right. And I don't know if anybody noticed, but I did, I had used two different, when I started, I ended up using two different colors of wire. So I just eliminated the darker one and went with the brighter silver for the rest of it.
Oh, that was just like TV magic. Nobody even knew. Sue is asking, how do you attach to the chain? So she's going to use little jump rings, Sue.
I will use our tiniest little jump rings for that.
And then she'll just attach itty bitty. I think you said they were 2 millimeter by 3. Is it an oval jump ring? Yeah. The oval jump rings are really nice too, because they just kind of allow it to hang a little more the way they want to, Right. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining us today. It's been so fun to chat with you, Tracy. It's been a little while since I've seen you.
Yeah, nice
and I'm glad we got a chance to catch up, and I will for sure send you my Irish soda bread
Thank you.
recipe, and I'll share it as well in the VIB studio group. So if anyone else wants to make it, super easy. And it's one of those things that's other than the buttermilk, I usually don't have to run out for anything else.
Right.
And then if I add raisins, those are hit or miss whether I have them in the house. But really fun. Do you have any other plans for the weekend?
I don't think so. I had my grandson for a few days last weekend. I had him from Wednesday night through Monday morning. So I think
that's a good amount of time. That's awesome.
So I think I just need to rest this week.
How old is he?
10.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be resting.
My kids are gone. Both my kids are on a cruise with their grandma. So
oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's been It's been quiet around here. And the biggest change is I'm not driving around, especially for my younger one. I tend to be quite the chauffeur.
Right.
So
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
oh, I have nowhere to go. All week
How
I can pretty
nice.
much
Oh my
hang out
God.
in my PJs.
Enjoy that. That's like the little, they get the vacation, you get the staycation.
Exactly, exactly. Well, thanks for joining with me today, Tracy. We look forward to seeing a picture of your finished project to share with everybody. And if you guys haven't checked out the new collection, be sure to go to softluxcompany.com. Everything is 15% off. It started today. And while supplies last, because some of those things go really quickly. And so you want to get in there. So get in there and look around today as soon as you can and pick out some of the new items and bring them into your collection. They're so beautifully made. I love them. They're really bright. I don't know what's different. I mean, there's probably nothing, but I don't know why. For some reason, this collection, maybe it's just all the detail that this collection has. That there's just every piece is just like super, super detailed and gorgeous.
Well, and the woodland launch from last fall, I don't remember if we did a lot of copper, but a lot of that was brass ox. So that is a much
That was
darker.
a deeper,
Yeah.
right. So this collection's quite a bit brighter, which is nice. I really like it. Tell the team they did a fabulous job. And
I will do that.
we look forward to seeing what all of you make too. So be sure to share it in the Softlex VIB studio when you make stuff, because, creativity is so much more fun shared with friends. So look, thanks for being here with us, everybody. We will see you next time. And for those of you joining me on the after party,
Yeah,
I'll
thanks,
see you over
everyone.
there. Bye.